I think we can go ahead and get started. We've got a very busy edition of Wootopia Volume 7. And, usually every Wednesday we have these calls over in Discord. WooDAO Wednesday, we have these calls where we focus on DAO initiatives. But every once in a while, the WooX and greater Woo network becomes very important to talk about with the greater community. And of course, Twitter has such a great reach. So we made the decision to pop in here, and here we are. So I think we're going to cover a few different topics. I think we'll start talking a little bit about WooFi. We'll mention briefly the DAO. We'll also talk about the latest announcement we had early last week with the trade to earn. And then we'll round that off by having Morpheus from our WooX tech team come on here and talk about some new things happening on WooX. So a lot to get to. And in the interest of time, let's just jump right into it. So, Kevin, I think you're a speaker. And do you want to say hello here?
Yep. Hi everyone.
Hey, Kevin.
Excited to be here.
For those of you who don't know, Kevin is leading a lot of our DeFi initiatives, and part of that is WooFi, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like we're getting a new update shipped about once a week. Is that the new schedule?
Yeah, almost once a week. Sometimes 2 updates a week.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, I remember starting at this company about it's been, I guess, a year and a half ago. It's been quite a journey. But back then, we had a pretty clear path towards what we were doing. But now we've quickly grown in terms of size and scope, and there's just so many different things happening that it's great to see. And love the enthusiasm for WooFi. So maybe, Kevin, you can talk a little bit about this latest update that you've had this week on WooFi.
Yeah, I remember last time in the last Wootopia, that's when we just launched the Earn, right? And I think since then we actually released a lot of updates. Our dev team has been shipping updates like nonstop. Like I think since then, WooFi launched on Avalanche. This is the first. This is the second chain we deployed. It kind of kick off our multi-chain path. So you should expect to see more chains where WooFi is going to be deployed, and also our Earn also are getting traction. I think we are now getting over 8 million in TVL, as well as the staking. Now, actually, it's pretty impressive. There's over 80 million Woo tokens staked on WooFi. I think people really love the easy access in DeFi, and also yesterday we launched a UI updates to the Earn based on a lot of the feedback we got since we released that function, because we are adding more and more vaults, different strategies. So we make the UI easier for people to just navigate different types of vaults, and also very easy to see their portfolio on WooFi, like the total deposit, how much profits they're making on daily basis, weekly, monthly. So yeah, we want to make WooFi kind of like their saving account, right? You just put your assets there, just start to earn profits. Lots of updates, and there will be more coming.
Okay, well, the Wootopia calls always have a very broad audience, so maybe you can talk about who is the ideal user for WooFi and just kind of reset everything for everyone.
Yeah, now I think since now WooFi actually have the full suite of products. We have swap, we have earn, we have stake. So it really serve different type of user. So for swap, it's meant to serve any type of user. But currently, because of the design, I think mainly the users are like aggregators. Aggregators are aggregating WooFi's liquidity to get the best pricing for their user. And the other type of user is actually some algorithmic DeFi trader. Based on the data we are seeing, like some of the top accounts on WooFi are actually some DeFi trading bots, I think it's mainly because WooFi actually providing the CFI level execution. So there's actually some arbitraging opportunity between WooFi and the DEXs. So yeah, people are taking advantage of that and also bring a lot of volume. But for normal users, it's also a good place if you want to just because we support most of them popular coins, so you can also use it as your go to DEX. So for Earn, it's really for people that don't want to spend like a lot of time just doing a lot of research on DeFi, trying to find the best place to earn yields and optimizing their strategy. It's really because we call it hassle-free yield finder. It's meant to like just find the best yield opportunity for you on different blockchains and bring it to you and also optimize the strategy. So for user, you just really deposit and start to earn earn more assets. So yeah, it's for I think for anyone who wants DeFi yields, even if you're not very familiar with DeFi, I think we are trying to do our best to improve the UX, make it really simple. So if you're not really familiar with DeFi, I think you won't have problem using it. For staking, that's pretty obvious. For holder who want to hold the token and also earn some yield at the same time, it's very easy to access. It's on BSC and Avalanche. Yeah, and since the staking yield is also tied to this trading volume, so as the volume grows, there will be more rewards for the staker.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I know I tweeted about this yesterday about how WooFi Earn is quickly becoming a place where I just go to learn about new assets and opportunities on different chains, learn about platypus finance through WooFi Earn. So yeah,
Right.
it's quite interesting how you guys are selecting these strategies, and I guess we can expect that to continue to grow.
Exactly. Totally.
Okay. Okay. Well, the theme of this call, we talked about defining the future of Woo Network, and so I guess we can talk about defining the future of WooFi. So how you kind of see WooFi growing, and then of course the most important question for everybody here is how will this help to drive growth for WooFi and Woo Network as well?
Yeah. Yeah. The futures. Right. I think a couple of things we are working on. As I mentioned, like WooFi is actually very appealing to like professional DeFi trader. But I think we need to do a better job like raising awareness of WooFi in front of like not BNB chain ecosystem and Avalanche ecosystem. Since we just entered Avalanche ecosystem, it's still pretty unknown. So we are doing some collaboration with projects on Avalanche, hoping more Avalanche traders will see WooFi. And the other thing is we are kind of designing maybe some incentive to boost the volume for like through aggregators and also like professional DeFi trader. So things because the volume is really important. So if the volume grows, then that means more fees, more rewards to the staker, and also it will help us maybe in the future to create yield strategy around maybe like liquidity provision. And yeah, of course, the other thing is, as you mentioned, we constantly looking for good yield opportunity. Like a lot of time there is some new project coming up, and then but for normal user, it's really hard to do the research. So our team will do the research and also check the security of the smart contract and present you with the best strategy to earn yield from those places. And yeah, and the last point is really multi-chain deployment. After Avalanche, we are also looking at other blockchains, including alt layer ones as well as layer twos on top of Ethereum. So yeah, a lot of things are coming. So our dev team is gonna just keep shipping.
Well, I like the sound of that. I think that pretty much explains everything going on there. and we'll be looking forward to the next updates. Kevin, do you mind if we move on to the next part?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not gonna, you're not gonna hear my loud typing this time. I have a new keyboard, by the way.
Good to hear. Although we will miss those interruptions. They're pretty nostalgic. Okay, for the next part, I think we can bring up. You're already up here, Chart Simpson, someone who came from the community. He's very actively involved in the DAO. Chart, would you like to give us a nice flowery introduction?
Hey guys, Chart here, just trying to make it. Thanks for having me show off my sweet angelic voice. Tell you a little bit more about the DAO. Basically, I tweeted earlier, so yeah, we have a DAO. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but I tweeted earlier how we're actively looking for community involvement in basically 3 different ways that I'll go over here shortly. But the DAO basically has been growing really fast. We need your guys' help to get involved. There's 3 ways you can get involved with 3 different communities. So each of these communities has its own initiatives. And yeah, like I said, we need people who are active and willing to start getting involved with them. So the first committee is the Treasury Management Committee, and that meets every week on Thursday, 1 p.m. UTC. And all this is hosted in the Discord. So Mitchell is involved there, and you can just talk to him in the Discord if you want to find out more about the call. But 1 p.m. Thursdays. The goals there within the Treasury Management, there's basically 3 goals. One is to improve liquidity. 2 is to increase utility for the Woo token, and the 3rd is to earn revenue for other operations within the DAO. So the treasury management's probably one of the most, I guess, aggressive would be the word, committees we've been doing right now, where we're taking a lot of the idle Woo token and deploying it to earn revenue for the DAO. So a couple of ways we can do this is partner with other DAOs to use their products and services. So we did this with DataNuts, and we established a Woo options market. We also partnered with Seller to enhance Woo's token, the Woo token utility across DeFi by improving liquidity on Bancor, Uniswap through things like liquidity pools, and also bridging cross chains using their C bridge. So yeah, treasury management has a lot going. Those are just a couple examples, but we want to take the idle Woo token we have and deploy it and start earning revenue for the DAO to fund other initiatives, opportunities in the DAO, get more people involved. Second committee, we call it business development. That meets every week. It front runs all the other calls. So that's on Tuesdays, 3:30 UTC, and that's with me, Arjun, and Kevin, who just spoke. The goal there is basically we're looking to leverage the DAO for any, I guess, possible potential opportunities for Woo Network or Kronos to provide services or business to other DAOs, or just opportunities for Woo and Kronos in general. So some things that we can do, and for this, we're looking for people that are able and willing to like create, maintain, improve relationships with projects and partners on the BD side. A lot of this is very it's like high touch, right? Like we need people to be in contact with these teams, looking for projects that the DAO would be a fit for. And so once we find these projects or teams that fall into these parameters, we can offer them a lot of services. A couple being like market making their token, potentially listing on WooX or any network of our exchange partners. We could provide liquidity to their platform, or even connecting to WooX liquidity. So basically, it's like, think of it as like we're looking for a committee of members to essentially help us navigate through all these DeFi protocols and be familiar with Woo, a little bit Kronos, and just how we can add value to them and vice versa. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there, and that will start to grow as we get more people on the committee and just go down this path. I think there's a ton, like even on the Woo just non-DAO BD side, a lot of this kind of ends up falling into the DAO. So I think it's highly synergistic. Like I said, we want to create, maintain, and improve relationships with projects and partners on the BD side. So an example of this is the current WRC we have. Essentially, we want to create Woo financial NFTs. in partnership with Solve Finance, who will actually be a guest speaker in the DAO weekly call. That's usually this call, which is Wootopia this week, but usually for Woo DAO Wednesdays, we have a guest speaker that will be Solve Finance next week, Alpha Leak, as well as Binance NFT. So if you haven't checked out that WRC, go take a look today. Let us know your thoughts. Leave a comment because we're going to move that to a WIP this week, probably tomorrow. And then the third and final committee we have for now is what we're calling the Growth Committee. I'll pass that back to Ben, our Lord and Savior, because he actually is helping run that committee. So he can talk a little bit about growth.
Well, thank you for the intro, and congratulations on your Wootopia debut, Chart. It sounds pretty good.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for the DAO, a lot of people kind of wonder, what is the purpose? I think ultimately everything you talked about in terms of business development and treasury management, it all goes back towards growing the network. What does that mean? It means users for both WooX and WooFi. It also means volumes on the network. And so growth is kind of, I guess, the in game. So treasury management trying to generate revenue, which we can push towards growth initiatives. BD trying to knock down doors to make us, easier to grow, expand our influence. So one of the first initiatives we're doing with the growth team is we're setting up a team, which we call WooForce. And we had our first meeting tonight, had a fantastic turnout. Over 30 people applied. And it's just basically people who are looking to, learn more about what we're doing and work with us to grow communities, to create more content, to host offline, online events, to network with things like university blockchain associations, or every city has like a regional blockchain association. So there's so many different angles. I don't think there's any right answer to how we approach it. But if people are sitting there thinking, I love blockchain, I want to learn more, maybe I want to work in this industry, then this is a great working committee to get involved with. And so I don't know if Chart, you mentioned it very well, but to join, all you have to really do is join the Discord. We talk about a DAO. I mean, it's really just a Discord server with people who are all working towards the end goal. So if you've just been on Twitter or Telegram, haven't checked out the Discord, this is your call to action to come check it out and get involved.
Yeah, totally. I think sometimes like the word DAO can be kind of intimidating. Like I remember before I got involved with the Woo DAO, I would sometimes join other DAOs, and it was back when I was just getting familiar with Discord, and I was like, "What is this?" Like, I'm used to Telegram. This is so complicated. But really, once you dive in, I find the Woo community on Twitter, and this just goes right over to the DAO as well, is very supportive, very helpful, and like. Once you just jump in, it's very straightforward. There's 3 ways you can get involved today to start helping. All of them have people already on board that can answer questions, get you involved, and then there's no stupid questions. So just hop in, get involved, check the WRCs, check the WIPs, look at the committees, and just get in there and just start asking questions, and from there kind of it just starts flowing.
Yep, exactly. So I think we covered the DAO pretty well. I guess after this, you guys can leave your comments about whether Chart Simpson will be invited back to the next Wootopia, but I'm sure it'll be unanimous in favor.
Bearish or bullish in the chat?
Yeah, so thank you, Chart, for coming up here. By the way, Chart, I don't know if you want to mention before you drop off just about what you're doing currently. You're over in Europe right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm over in Lisbon right now. I'm going over to Barcelona very, very soon for the Avalanche Summit, and yeah, we're looking to expand presence at events. We're gonna have some of our ventures team there as well as our BD team, and we're looking to just get in touch with projects, founders, traders, anyone that can add growth for our ecosystem or as a strategic, alignment or resources to talk to. And I think Avalanche, we're very close with Avalanche. They invested in our Series A. There's a ton of ways that we support each other. So it should be a great conference. Looking forward to meeting a lot of the teams over there. And if you guys are ever at conferences, whether it be this upcoming one, Avalanche Summit, or future ones. We're looking to have an more established presence at some of the more premier important conferences going forward this year. So always reach out and let us know if you're planning to attend, and we could link up.
Are you offering to take people out, buy them dinner, get them a beer or two?
Yes, this is a formal offering. Must be redeemable only in Barcelona, and then we will see how things go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Chart.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can move on to the next part. I think we can bring up Mitchell. Mitchell, you ready? You ready to go? You're still on mute, but I think you're ready.
I'm born ready.
That's what I like to hear. Mitchell, you were kind of the architect of the last week's announcement about T2E, trade to earn. It's something that we think is absolutely unparalleled in the current trading space. So why don't I just kind of hand it over to you and you can walk through the feature.
Sure, sounds good. This is something I've been working on for a while, working across many different teams within Woo Network. It's something more generally we were motivated by GameFi and the play to earn, but we wanted to make it more sustainable. The key is really about sustainability. So the idea behind trade to earn is going beyond zero fee trading with WooX, right? We already had zero fee trading. And a certain class of traders or investors, the manual traders. So those are probably most of you who trade directly on the website, not through the API. That trading volume is typically the least toxic, which is ideal for WooX. So what we've done is incentivize that volume on WooX even further. And that's the trade to earn program. That's part of the new staking program. And what that means is traders can actually earn rebates. They can get paid to trade on the spot markets on WooX. So how does that work? What we've done is we've created a new staking program. So we've replaced the old staking program with this new one, and in it has new trading fees. And for the taker fees, so think of those as market orders, those have a negative fee, right? So you can actually earn 0.1 basis points if you're a tier 3 staker in the new program. And the way we've designed it is with what we call a monthly rebate cap. So you have a certain amount of trading volume that is eligible to earn rebates. If you were to use that entire capacity each month, you could earn $1,750, so $1,750 US per month as a tier 3 staker. And that equates roughly to 25% yield at the current price of Woo. Because you get paid in Woo daily based on yesterday's earnings, the same way you get paid your staking rewards for having Woo staked. So that's the yield component of it. And really the idea is that we're giving more benefits and incentives to the traders that support the ecosystem, right? And having that non-toxic flow, that sustainable trading flow, that is what we're trying to encourage with the negative taker fees. Do you have any questions specifically, Ben?
No, I think it's good. I think we have over 150 people listening, so I think it's always important to revisit the zero fee model first. And I think a very simple way of looking at this is a lot of people think that when a trader goes to an exchange, there's basically two parties. The trader makes a trade, the exchange charges them a fee. So then they turn around to something like Woo Network and they go, well, how is that? How do they do that, right? But it's actually more complicated than that, because there is the user, there's the exchange, there's the market maker on there, and then the market maker will also hedge their exposure, which means if they sell you a Bitcoin, they will go back and buy another Bitcoin to balance out so that they are market neutral. And then sometimes that chain can continue because there'll be other exchanges where their market makers have to hedge as well. So what Woo Network does is they simplify that by being a single market maker platform, and it's just it takes out a lot of the extra steps. It makes it more efficient, and it passes the savings back to the the user, right? And so Woo Network is one of the few places where the incentives are aligned very strongly between the platform and the user. And we really want users to not only use the platform, but also to earn, right? Because the more they earn, the more they trade, and the more they trade, the more volumes there are. So it's a very self-reinforcing cycle, a positive cycle, a sustainable one. So I just want to throw that in there because there might be some new people here. And then I'll let you talk a little bit more about like trade to earn specifically, how the tokenomics works. How does that sound, Mitchell?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that first point, Ben. So with the tokenomics, so rewards are paid out daily at the beginning of each day and are based on the amount of trading volume that's eligible in the previous day. Okay. And the reason it's sustainable is that the average revenue from manual taker orders is typically much larger than the amount of rebates paid back. And so you can think of $1 of this type of trading volume will yield more revenue and a larger burn than the cost of acquisition or the rebates provided. So that's what makes it sustainable, is that we're increasing the trading volume amongst the least toxic or the most desirable volume or flow, and that creates a net increase in the burns or profitability for WooX.
Did you want to mention the match and burn as well, which was a new?
Yes. So in addition to the burn I described, where $1 of trading volume will equate to more burn than rebates, we've actually gone a step further, and we've done what Ben just described, the match and burn, where any rebate that's given out is actually matched by Woo that's sitting idle in the ecosystem rewards pool and also burned. And what this does, it doesn't affect the circulating supply, the amount of Woo in circulation, but it reduces the fully diluted value, the FDV. And that's really the tokens that could enter the supply in the future. You might recall that I believe 50% of all Woo tokens are allocated to this ecosystem rewards pool. So this just creates a further feedback loop where people are encouraged to trade. We're burning more users are incentivized to stake and become long-term holders. And that self-fulfilling cycle, we believe, will help WooX and Woo Network grow over time.
Awesome, Mitchell. And yeah, I guess it's probably time to bring up the next speaker. But did you have any other thoughts, Mitchell, about how you see this evolving?
I think in terms of evolving, I would just say that this is like a transition towards non-inflationary, more sustainable yield, right? Where we've designed a system that enables rebates and rewards to be earned, but in a sustainable way. Now, I think in the future, we'll work on other yield products and vaults for WooX. I mean, WooFi is already doing this, but WooX as well, where users can earn yield on their assets on the platform without having like an inflationary source of yield, right? One simple example would be holding proof of stake coins like Solana or Terra, and then being able to stake those directly on WooX and participate in some of those staking yields. So I think I would say that's the most direct comparison for the future, is thinking about other sources of sustainable yield that can be earned directly on the WooX platform.
All right. Thanks, Mitchell. What did you think of the other speakers while I have you here?
I'm not sure which way I'm going to vote for Chart Simpson just yet. I still got to think about it a bit more. But Kevin, as usual, has done a great job.
All right. Well, Morpheus is up here. Morpheus, you are one of the leads of the development at Woo Network, or WooX, maybe more specifically. Do you want to give yourself a short introduction?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Morpheus. I'm the product manager at Woo Network. It's my honor to be here to answer the questions from the community.
Awesome. Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is drop a little bit of alpha for everybody, because I think that's why a lot of people are here. So between now and the end of the month, we have some updates coming. Do you want to share some more details on that?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think Mitra just mentioned the new staking program, which will be like first big update. And I think for this release, then we will have the biggest update in the WAX history. Like first one is the new staking program. I think for the new staking program, I just want to say something like from day one, actually, our goal has always been to empower individuals and disrupt the market. So we are devoted to initiating products that we try to remove the obstacles and also increase execution quality for traders or users. And we worked our best to find a balance of a solid attraction for users and also exploring the good tokenomic and combined with a sustainable business model, like what Mitchell said. And so for the first update and first release we are going to release will be like we can finally be the first in the market to introduce the concept of trade to earn. Yeah, so that will be the big update for the first one. And for the second one, I think the next big update, I think this is the most stressful questions for me because you guys keep asking on Twitter like when futures. And I think for this question, for us, like what we mentioned, like to disrupt the market has many challenges, and that's why we spend more time than we expected designing our futures product. And we thought it's easy to leverage our strengths, the dark pool from the spot margin to apply to futures. However, it's way more challenging than we thought, since all futures products on different exchanges they are distinct. So, but thanks to our talented team, and they try very hard integrate futures market from the big exchanges, and finally we can build a dark pool with deep liquidity and tight spreads for futures. So now I'm so relieved to say that futures is coming very soon, and we think you can probably figure out what day, right?
uh, Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the alpha. I think most people have a good idea of when that's coming if they follow the Twitter. But what are maybe you could walk us through a little bit more about what makes it different because obviously every exchange has perpetual swaps and
Yeah.
futures. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we differentiate? How do we stand out from the market and convince more traders to switch to WX?
Yeah. I think that's a very, very good question because actually for the futures product, we did a lot of research, and I know that currently in the market there are different futures products, but all their products are similar. So we are thinking that how we can be the pioneer in the market to offer the new futures product. So I think the first setting point will be like what I mentioned. We still want to leverage our strengths. So we want to provide integrated futures. We integrate the big exchanges in the market, including Binance, OKX, Huobi, and also FTX, so that we can offer deep liquidity and also tight spread. And but furthermore, I think what we want to do is that we can be the first exchange to offer low to zero fees on futures market, because with all these three strengths combined, the deep liquidity, tight spreads, and also zero fees, all this allowed us to provide the best execution quality for the futures products. I think that's the first selling point. And for the second selling point is that we spend a lot of time to design a seamless user experience. And it's very hard to address in words, but I think it's better for you guys to experience yourself. But in a nutshell, I think our design principle try to continuously removes the frictions for traders to monitor and also trade spot and futures market. For instance, with cross margin mode, like traders, they don't need to transfer their assets to spot or futures wallets just to trade spot or futures. I think all your eligible assets can walk toward collateral. So that's the first one. And plus, I think trading and also trading on multiple spot and futures markets simultaneously is also the first feature in the market. So I think that's while we are building and designing the products, and I think that's our design principle. And I think the third one, we can be very proud to say that is that we have a thoughtful liquidation engine, because we know that traders, they tend to trade futures with very high leverage. So that's why we deliberately designed kind of multiple layers of liquidation engine to manage your risk. So for example, like liquidation doesn't mean your collateral will be all gone. I think on wax we will have various layers of liquidation process to protect your assets as much as possible, like canceling your pending orders, then closing your futures position, then 20% of liquidation again and again on your spot positions. So that help us to help the traders, they can manage their risk and they don't have to worry about, because for other platforms, if you get liquidated, all your assets might be gone if it's providing a cross margin model. But for us, that's why we think we are providing cross margin and we are providing a seamless user experience. So that's why we need to be more careful and thoughtful for the liquidation. And also, we have like more thoughtful margin calls mechanism. So once it's getting close to liquidation, then we will have like thoughtful kind of like email notifications to inform and alert the traders. Yeah, you are about to get liquidated. Try to be more cautious about your risk. Yeah, so I think that the above three would be like kind of like the big setting points we are building the futures product.
Oh, well, it sounds like I'm going to be getting a lot of those emails quite soon. But just to recap, I saw some questions in the community already about, you mentioned it, but you weren't overly specific. I don't know if that was on purpose about the fee structure,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe just talk about the fee structure and how it's different or the same to the spot fee structure.
Okay, I think the futures fee structure is pretty similar to the spot. But I think the only difference is that for spot margin, then we provide the trade to earn, this kind of model. So if you trade with taker orders, then you can get rebate. But for futures, we don't offer this. But we are still figuring out like what's the best way we can kind of find a balance and to be more sustainable. So maybe in the future we can still provide the taker fee rebate for futures trades. Yeah, but mostly for the fee structure would be similar, would be the same as spot margin, just without the taker fee rebate.
So if you stake the Woo according to the current staking program, or well, the new one on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
then you will be eligible for the zero fee futures trading.
Yes.
Awesome. I think that's what the community was waiting to hear. And I know that we always joke about spot fees, but then when you start trading futures fees, it's just on a whole nother level. So I think this is definitely an area where we have a really strong appeal to futures traders. And yeah, it's very excited to try it out. Whenever that big update will be, I don't know. I haven't checked the Twitter feed, so I'm not exactly sure what day that's launching. Okay, great. So we've kind of went away from a roadmap because most established products don't have roadmaps, especially in this industry where things change quickly. You need to be flexible to adapt, and we're trying to be very transparent with what we're working on through calls like this and also tweeting about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we've always said that futures was like the big thing in the pipeline for the last maybe 2 months, 3 months. So now that it looks like that is about to be through the pipeline, what is your team looking at next, Morpheus? Maybe give some very high level, not too much alpha into what you guys will be building.
Okay. Actually, I think our strategy is always like what we mentioned about like empowering individual is the goal. So we are keeping kind of creating the best place for traders. And I think right now we have already equipped with like basic, not basic, like trading tools or trading products like spot margin and futures for traders. So right now I think we can gradually move to empower retails, because I think retail is also kind of like the one of our goal, because we want to empower individuals. So I think the next big thing would be like social trading, because I think social trading can serve as a bridge to connect the traders and the retails. Since right now we are building a lot of products for traders, and once we can have more and more sophisticated traders, then I think we can create a bridge and to get more and more retails join us and to enjoy this kind of ecosystem. And I think once we have retails, that means another goal is that we definitely need to equip with more features and products to remove the barriers for the retails to enter the crypto market. So fiat gateway and also your product, these two products are kind of like the items we are working on right now. Yeah. But for retails, which will be our next focus, but it doesn't mean that we will forget the traders. So I think for the traders, our goal is to make sure that we can be more focusing on offering more and more this kind of advanced trading tools like later trading and others. And also one thing I want to add is that because right now we have UFI, right? And with the help of from Kevin, I think we can have the integration of WAX and the UFI. So this will also be the direction. Yeah.
Awesome. Morpheus, while I have you here, I think it's always interesting for us to see the growth of the team, and obviously we started out relatively focused on Asia, places like Taiwan, but now it seems like every time I open up my internal channels, I'm seeing that we're adding new talents, and a lot of them are overseas in different locations. We have the Poland office, obviously. We're building in Turkey. Uh, for someone like you who is managing all these developers around the world, maybe you could talk a little bit about that and the challenges and then the opportunities that it presents.
Okay. I think from a product's perspective, I think our goal is always to provide the best service and best product for users. So I think from product's perspective, we try to drive two targets for hiring purpose. I think the first one is that the security, because I think security is always our top priority. So that's why we keep hiring security experts to ensure we can kind of like secure users' assets and their assets are safe and sound. So I think that's the first thing that we always drive our talent acquisition team to hire more and more security experts. And the second one is to kind of like keep our service to be sustainable and also can be continuously 24-hour and 7 days like working in the crypto market, and crypto market is always work like this way. So we definitely need to provide a service with 24-hour service. So I think to offer this, we aggressively to hire a lot of talents from the globe. Like right now we have Poland and team, and also we have Turkey, and we are thinking about to have more and more talents from different places. And I'm not just talking about like customer success team, because customer success is just kind of the front line to kind of like serve our customer and the users. But we are talking about we want to build, because like what you say, like currently the development team are all located, not all, like mostly located in Asia. But I think our goal is that we also want to target and build the development teams across different time zones so that we can serve all users from anywhere and anytime. Because I think the current target is to drive to have a development team in Poland. So that means with the Poland team and the Asia team, that means like all the tech teams and the product teams, we can cover like the biggest kind of like different time zones. So we can offer like a 24-hour services. So I think that's our goal for the hiring. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Morpheus. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all my questions. I'll stop harassing you now, Morpheus, for Alpha. But yeah, how was it your answering questions here on Wootopia?
I think it's pretty good, and I'm very glad that I have this kind of opportunity to share my understanding and opinion with you guys, because I know that a lot of people keep asking when futures, and it's stressful for me, but I really want to have a place that I can explain why it's like we spend a lot of time on this. Yeah.
Great, great. Okay. Well, it's 11:50, and I mean, we kind of blocked off an hour for this call, so I don't know if anyone here uh, wants to be brave and stick their hand up and ask a question. We have a few speakers here like Mitchell and Kevin and myself who can maybe handle it. If not, I guess we'll just bring Chard up and he'll tell stories of Barcelona, but maybe there's a better alternative here.
There's got to be a better alternative than that.
Yeah. And while we wait to see if anyone does, I mean, definitely, if anyone out here is interested in contributing, like full time, we have a careers page, and we're always looking to add talent across so many different verticals. If anyone's just looking to contribute in a kind of casual sort of way and learn more about the industry, definitely hit the Discord of the DAO. Chart mentioned that we have the business development calls in the DAO. These are open calls. They happen on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we have the bigger calls. We also have the growth calls with the Woo Force on Wednesdays. And then Thursdays, the treasury management meets. So it's like there's almost always something going on. I think the goal is always to be as inclusive as we can with the community, because we recognize our users come from everywhere. And the only way we can, build products to serve them and, just create this community that reflects them is to, cater to everyone. So really hope that more people get in there, and it's a great opportunity just to meet with people who are very, very talented in this industry. We've had some great contributors that constantly blow me away, not just in terms of their experience and their knowledge level, but also like their education and their understanding. So can't say enough about that. Is there anyone who? Oh, we have a new speaker.
Yeah, we have a speaker.
What's up, R?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and appreciate all the hard work your team has been doing. I joined halfway through the call, so I'm not sure if it was addressed. I guess you've all been talking about first mover advantage and being first to market for all these products, which is all great. But I guess, how do you think about U.S. expansion going forward, given that you will get first mover advantage ex-U.S., but given that FTX, Binance, Coinbase, etc., are already operating in the U.S., do you worry that they could copy your products and have that first mover advantage in the U.S.?
No, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it. Maybe I'll take this one because it's related to growth. I mean, we have a team now that is actively working on US, and it's a very, I guess you would say, they're taking things a little more conservative than in other regions, because you obviously don't want to burn any bridges there and end up getting rippled or something. But I mean, the idea is that the trading ecosystem in the States is very inefficient because of the barriers to entry that have been placed by various governing bodies. So I don't look at any of them and say, oh, wow, they've got this elite product. And they can't really put in too elite of a product because of the limitations. So I think anyone who enters now, and there are pretty clear rules, right? So, it's not totally transparent, but it's at least you can, if you get in, everybody is playing on a similar playing field. And I'm not too worried about that. But the ultimate question you asked was like about our advantage, and our advantage very much lies in who we are with the single market maker platform. Currently, there's no one else that's doing this. In traditional finance, there is, and they're very successful, right? And so we've always seen the markets are going this way. It's just a simply more efficient model. And we think of Woo Network, they're actually, it's like for simplicity's sake, it's an exchange, but in reality, it acts somewhat like an exchange, but so much like a brokerage as well, because we are taking, we're integrating the liquidity from other places, and that just allows us to be much more efficient. If someone else can replicate this in a short period of time, I would be very surprised because you would need to have the right parties. And we have that with Kronos Research, with our relationship with them, and that takes years of building infrastructure and experience and talent, and then it also takes just a very high level of talent to begin with, right? So it's not very easy to do what Kronos Research does. So we're very blessed to have this relationship, and we're confident that we can protect this moat around what we're doing. And generally, all the competition is very friendly towards us. Like you've seen how OKX listed us, Binance listed us, and Binance supports us very high. They invested in the Series A. And the reason is because we do bring them flow as a brokerage, right? So it benefits them to see us succeed. And I think long term, this whole crypto ecosystem will be working together to grow, right? Because the next battleground is not competing for crypto Twitter's volume, right? It's reaching the masses, the people who are either in traditional finance and are experienced traders but haven't made the jump, or the people who are the unbanked, the people in developing regions, right? I mean, this is where people will be competing, and it's really a shared job where people are working on things like regulation together and stuff like that. So it's a really long answer, but I hope I covered some of the parts.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess I have a second question, if I can ask. In terms of social trading, I guess what is ultimately the vision for the product? Is it to make Woo to also be like a quasi social platform slash trading app, or would you be looking into partnerships with other social media platforms who already have the existing established base, and it would kind of be more like APIs where you can be on Twitter and kind of have like your Woo social badge on kind of your performance and trading?
Okay, I think I can tackle this one. Yeah, I think this is a very good question. I think for the social trading, okay, so the first one, our goal is to, because I think we have the strategy that as I think our co-founder is a pro trader, so that's why from his perspective, he thinks like we can build a good environment or build like good products to serve all these pro traders. Then we can have more and more pro traders, active traders. Then we can gradually kind of like serve and empower the individuals, this kind of retails. So that's why our goal is to have social trading, because once we have social trading, then not only we can allow a lot of traders, they can share their strategies with the retails, and retails they can be very happy because they can learn a lot from these traders. Because from our research and the interviews, we know that a lot of traders or like kind of to be traders, they try very hard to learn how to trade like a professional. So that's why we try to build this kind of bridge with social trading. And so that's, I think that's our goal, to have social trading to integrate with wax. Then eventually for pro traders, they can enjoy our advanced trading tools on wax. And also they can share their understanding and knowledge with these retails. As a retail, like me, and I can easily to trade on wax, and I just copy very good traders, or I can just have other kind of like investment tools. For example, like we are going to leverage Chronos like very good strategies on wax. So in the future, our goal is to create this kind of ecosystem so that we have traders, we have retails, but they can all enjoy this kind of beneficial relationship. So I think that answered your 1st question. But the second question, I think that's what we are exploring, because you can imagine that if we want to build a social trading platform, but yeah, the first thing is that we need to create this kind of social sense, like for traders or like retailers or users, they can easily to have a communication and without any efforts and any frictions. But there will be another question that once we build this kind of communication tools for them to create this kind of social vibes, but it's kind of like conflict what we are using and what's our culture right now. For example, like right now we are using Twitter, we are using Instagram, we are using Discord. So I think we are still finding like the best way, and we are interviewing a lot of traders and also users to see like if we want to provide a social trading platform, and what's the best way to create this kind of communication bridge. Either we can just build our communication tools on wax by ourselves, but we can definitely like kind of like connect the API from Twitter, from Discord to leverage, because for Twitter and Discord they spend their years and they have a lot of experience to create this kind of very good social platform for users to communicate. So for us, like the best way definitely is to leverage what they have, and we don't have to force users. They need to come to UX just to have a conversation with good traders. We can leverage what we have from Twitter and Discord, but that's one of the direction. And maybe another direction, like what I say, we can create a tool by our own. But that, yeah, that depends on the situation and on the feedback from our interviews.
I think Morpheus, you answered that like a product manager. I mean, I think there from a broader lens. I mean, we have things like Woo Ventures that is constantly looking for not even related specifically to social trading, but projects that are at an early stage who can add value to our ecosystem. And a lot of them are working on things like this, and we can incorporate ideas for mutually beneficial relationships. I mean, that's why we have the best in the business, guys like Chart Simpson, scouring the globe for the next big thing. But yeah, that would probably be the answer for you, R.
Thanks. Makes sense. I'm looking forward to the product.
Thanks, R. And yeah, definitely loved your questions. You're obviously a very thoughtful person. So if you ever have any more feedback for us, jump in the Discord, jump on Telegram, and talk to us. I don't recall ever seeing you speak here before, so
yeah, I haven't, but I've always been following. But yeah, definitely we'll reach out.
Excellent.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's the top of the hour here, so I think we've maxed out our time. Any other carryover content can move to a Discord server. Anything you guys want to add, Chart or Kevin or Mitchell or Morpheus, before we close it off?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening for this whole time. Really appreciate it, and hope to see all of you in the DAO.
Yeah, the DAO is fun. Please join. Future is bright.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you very soon. Another one of these community calls.
Well, also Ben, great job hosting. Thank you to Ben.
Well, it fills me with immense pride to hear that. But yes, I do enjoy sharing this information, talking to everyone. Thanks, Chart.